now. And then she just kept pestering me about it. And then one day I was just bored, and I looked at all the stuff she sent me, and I was looking at it, and I was like, there's no swimsuit competition. They don't judge you on your physical appearance whatsoever. And it judges you on all your charitable work, all the causes that you work for in your country and in your communities, all the work you've done in your whole life. And the platform for the competition was domestic violence and reflection over children, which resonated with me because that's what I dealt with in my own life. So I thought, why not? One last one for the road. I'm married, I was like, it'll be done. And then I ended up going there. I'm the youngest person there, which was weird because usually in a pageant everyone's around the same age, or I would have been an oldie in a Miss pageant because I was 25. But I got there and the oldest lady was almost 60 years old. It was just like so different. I've never seen anything like that in my life. So I get there and I start meeting all these women and they're so kind. And at first I was really guarded because usually when you go to a pageant, girls go there to sabotage you and they go to win and they'll do anything it takes to win. So I'm at this pageant, everyone's being really nice. I'm kind of just like, kind of like, But they were also kind, and I got to know them, and there was doctors, lawyers, politicians, all these amazing women with such wonderful careers. They did so much charity work, they did so much for their countries, and just being with them, it was an honor just being with them. It was amazing. But the thing that we got judged on is differently than a Miss pageant. Miss pageants, the judges never see you. They see you the night of the pageant for the top 5 question. You could practice for that question for months, ace it. You could be the dumbest girl in the world and win. That's just the way it works. They don't get to know you. You don't meet these judges beforehand. But with our competition, the judges were with us the whole duration, from beginning to end, every day. They got to know us. And the things that they judged us on was like, our presentations, the things that we do in our country and whatnot, but with the panels and the forums that we had with all the women, how we're going to target these issues, and just basically working together. And what they were looking for was a good representative of the organization and for these causes, and a good representative for her country. So it could be anybody. And I remember I was talking to my husband while he came to Europe with me for the competition, and I was saying to him, like, if I do win, you never know who's going to win, but if I do, like, I want something good to come out of this. I don't want to just have a title and just stand there and wave, look pretty, and be on posters. I want to do something with this. I want it to be bigger than me. And he was like, well, we know what you like to talk about. You're very outspoken. And so I obviously had an agenda going into this. I'm not just going to do a pageant for fun. So I'm talking to him about it, and I'm like, this is like a great way to get people's attention. So finals night, they call my name, I win, and I was the first First Nations woman and first Canadian to ever win. So that was... And it was an amazing feeling because, not only because I won, but the whole duration of the competition I was there, I was representing First Nations people, I was representing our culture in an appropriate way. I wasn't misrepresenting us in any way whatsoever. I see people wearing costumes at competitions and things like that, and that's not what I wanted to represent. I brought my jingle dress, I had a custom jingle dress made, I did a dance, I sang a round dance song, I did everything, and they've never seen that before, so that was one of the most proudest moments in my life, was sharing my culture with all these women from across the world in a different place that I've never been. And after I won, it was a whirlwind. I remember going to my hotel room after. I ditched the after party because I was exhausted, and I had to fly out at 4 in the morning back to Toronto. And when I landed, I had 23 interviews back to back as soon as I got there. I don't know if you guys know media that well, but the way that works, you'll be hella tired. You'll be exhausted. That's a lot. And it was a media frenzy because I was the first First Nations woman to win, and I was the first Canadian. So I do all these interviews and I try to keep them all positive, you know, because I'm the first of whatever, and I keep them all positive because I want to be able to have the media in the palm of my hand so I can unleash some real talk when I'm ready. Talking to my husband, it's the end of the day, I'm done all my interviews, I'm tired, and I'm saying, you know what, I have them now. I have their attention. I'm like, this is the perfect time to say some serious stuff. And he was like, all right. He's like, I'm behind you 100% of the way. He's like, you're going to experience a lot of backlash. He's like, but I'm there for you. He's like, you can handle it. I was like, I know. So the next day, I know. So the next day, I go on my computer, and I'm just typing away. I'm like, smiling, whatever. And I wrote, I urge all First Nations people to vote out Stephen Harper. And then that's when things got real crazy. Like really crazy. Because that was the second day of being Mrs. Universe. I called out our Canadian government and our Prime Minister. So that went really crazy because not only did I do that, but I brought up a lot of issues as well. I experienced so much backlash, people sending me threats, racist comments, stereotypical ignorant things that they would say, and a lot of people are like, please don't stand down, please keep speaking up, and I would just tell people like, I competed in pageants, I can handle the criticism, this is nothing. So, you know, one of the first things I talked about was murder and missing Indigenous women. I obviously talked about other issues like the environment, climate change, all the pipelines he was trying to put in, the Bill C-51, for example. I talked about the foster care system, how it's basically the new residential school. I was talking about that there are First Nations people in this country that are living in third world poverty that have green or brown drinking water, which is insane, and it's crazy because a lot of people didn't even know. After I did all these interviews and talked about all these issues, people are like, what? Canadians were saying this, what? People are living in third world poverty in this country? I'm like, yes, and it's the first people of Canada living through this. The people that were here first are dealing with this. Our treaties aren't being honored, and this is what our people are dealing with. Our people are suffering. And I want to keep more focused about the murder and missing Indigenous women, but all these issues are huge. A lot of these things people have been talking about for years, but it was sad that it took a beauty queen to win a pageant for people to listen. People have been talking these things for forever, but you know, I'm glad that I'm very outspoken and people are actually, you know, finally listening. And you know, I didn't step down and I wasn't afraid. That's a lot to take in, especially